Okay, so once again, hello and welcome everybody to the first webinar of the series called Pragmatic GenAI Solutions for ServiceNow Management and Operation. Each webinar will be dedicated to a specific AI-powered use case followed by a real-time demo. No beating around the bush, just useful information on how you can apply GenAI in your industry. So please stay tuned. My name is Yegor. I'm associate consultant at Teiva Systems, a global boutique IT company specializing in GenAI and service management. And our primary focus is on ServiceNow, and we pride ourselves on being at the forefront of the modern AI revolution. Today, I'm joined by Alex, one of Teiva Systems co-founder and an expert in applying generative AI in corporate sphere. Welcome, Alex, and can you please give us a quick intro on your background and field of interest?
Sure, thank you, Igor. So my name is Alexey. I've been in tech for 20 plus years, mostly enterprise software, and since 2011 with ServiceNow doing all kinds of crazy and exciting stuff. And so for the past 5 years, I've been working heavily in machine learning AI, and for the past couple of years, especially in generative AI. And definitely love the combination of the power of enterprise platforms such as ServiceNow and the capabilities of GenAI, because it gives so much tools, so much freedom right now that I couldn't have imagined earlier. So this is why I'm very excited to discuss with you today's topic. Thank you, Igor.
Super, thank you, Alex. So today we are going to talk about document extraction, but more specifically, GenAI-driven compliance analysis and tracking in ServiceNow. As an example, we take the energy sector, and a bit later, we're going to talk about more possible ways of utilizing document extraction, and later, how you can easily determine possible return on investments after implementing compliance task generation. Well, without any further ado, at this point, I would like to pass it on to Alex, who will tell us what are the main challenges related to the compliance management oil and gas companies are facing. And then he will show us the solution that we at Teiva Systems have developed called Permit GPT. So please, Alex.
Awesome, thank you. So one example of GenAI that we pick today is the automation of compliance for the various industries. Today we're going to talk about oil and gas and energy sector. So let me give you the story. So companies that are regulated by governments or states or local authorities, like oil and gas companies, for example, depend heavily on being compliant with those regulations. If you're not compliant, you cannot make revenue. You're going to get troubles. And managing compliance is a critical aspect of a lot of businesses, and it goes beyond this industry. And I can give you an example. So for mid-sized oil and gas company, they might have like around 1,000 facilities, around 50,000 pieces of assets that are regulatory managed. And what it ends up with is that the compliance department, compliance executives have to work with more than 1,000 regulations. So specific requirements that pertain to certain types of facilities or processes, etc. And when you look into the whole asset size, we're talking about more than 500,000 specific requirements for specific pieces of equipment that need to be managed, actively reported, and collected. And when it comes to collection, we're talking about hundreds of millions of data points that need to be collected annually, and a lot of calculations that need to be done in order to prove and to demonstrate that you're compliant or you're not compliant. And behind all of that, you have people in the field or in the office, but most of them are in the field that do hundreds of thousands of tasks annually. And going to the applications, doing the job, collecting results, getting this back. And you can imagine that how much work this generates just to stay compliant with, let's say, federal and state regulations. Yegor, next slide, please. So what we learned that at this scale, or there are much more bigger companies, the ensuring compliance is very hard and is a risk, is very risky. So there are four main problems. So first of all, understanding what you need to be compliant with. So what are regulations that apply to you, and how do they apply to your assets, to your facilities, and to your processes? Then the biggest problem actually is collecting the data to understand your compliance status. Do you have a problem, or you don't have a problem? And the multitude of vendors, multitude of siloed, homegrown, or third-party systems don't make it easy. And a lot of cases, people try to do it in spreadsheets, consolidate it all, and it's a very complicated and very intense work. But then, as I mentioned, hundreds of thousands of tasks need to be done in the field by people to ensure that you're compliant, to do something, to fix problems. And right now, in majority of companies, actually, it's done using Outlook and spreadsheets. And you can understand that at this scale, this is not the ideal tool that can cause to a lot of inefficiencies, a lot of lost data, and actually compliance issues down the road. And once coming that the data is in spreadsheets, reporting this is a big problem as well. So basically, what we developed was a product called Emission Box. It's a product that's powered by ServiceNow. And it has, we don't need to read all of that, but basically its goal to help companies understand compliance requirements, basically extract what is required. And the goal was to automate 90% of the tasks related to that. Then to monitor compliance status by consolidating all the data sources, that will definitely create transparency and help people automate all the aspects of the compliance work in the field, dispatching, in the office, tracking of this work, to increase efficiency, to increase the to reduce the amount of unnecessary work or rework, etc. And of course, once you have all the data in one system, you can really automate most of the compliance reporting out of the gate. So, but we're going to focus on actually understanding and acting today. So, Igor, please. All right, so now we're going to have a demo. So I'll share my screen. Here we go. So this is the look at this document. It's just like, well, we don't need to read all of that, but you just see.
Wow, it's huge. How many pages are there?
It's around 240 pages, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the document that is sent by state regulators to just for one facility to operate, that outlines all the requirements, all the limits, all the procedures that need to be taken in order for this facility to operate within compliance requirement constraints. So obviously, right now, as I mentioned, people are reading these documents like manually, writing down stuff, entering stuff in spreadsheets or in some other system, and try to schedule all the work related to that. So this is absolutely a horrible job. I wouldn't want to have that. And our goal with our product called Pragmatic GPT was to actually fully automate that. And this is done on ServiceNow using generative AI. This is a main part of our topic. So if we go back to our software, so if we go to, let's say, facilities for which this document applies, and we'll find one of these facilities in our software. And so this is one of the oil and gas facilities. It has a lot of information. It's an asset in ServiceNow system. And if you scroll down, you can see that it contains all equipment. So these are all the assets that you need to be compliant with. But also it has all these regulations that this facility needs to be compliant with. So we track all of that. And so now let's imagine we got this big document and new requirements, updates, and all you have to do really is register it attach this document into ServiceNow, to software, and then click submit. It will take 15 minutes to process, so I'll not waste your time today, but I will show you already process result of this permit that I showed you. And so this is it. This is the attachment I showed you. And what it does, we use generative AI to extract all the asset information from this permit and find all the requirements, all the regulatory constraints and limits that need to be compliant with, and determine which tasks need to be scheduled and assigned to which groups. So if we click on this button, Generate Task and Equipment, you will see that it found that for this type of equipment, for this facility, you need to schedule these tasks. So as you can see, there's a task schedule a year ahead for different types of pollutants, for different types of inspections. So in this case, we're looking at 48 recurrent tasks. Again, normally it's larger, so we took like a small location, but also specific requirements that are regulatory required to be compliant. So how much of different pollutants you have to make sure that you're not exceeding, etc. So, and you can see how many of these requirements, limit requirements, are specified for different types of equipment. So basically, what it's done, it analyzed, it read the document, and within 10 minutes, it's completely analyzed that. It cross-referenced all the regulatory state, federal regulations, and ensured that consistency of that. And all you have to do is say, okay, create all this work. And once it's done, all these tasks will be scheduled, and you can see it here. Here we go. So now all the tasks are scheduled. They are all tasks within ServiceNow. So all the workflows, all the assignments, all the transitions, notifications will be applicable to them. And so yeah, it saved me like hours or days of work. So actually, when some of our clients we spoke, it can take up to a week or more than a week to actually process single permit correctly and verify the consistency. So it's definitely saves a lot of headache and a lot of actually risks related to the compliance. But we don't stop there. So once the tasks are applied, what we can show you is what we call smart tasks. And smart task is so this is one of the tasks that was scheduled coming from this permit, and some heat content verification. So smart task is a task that is powered internally by AI. So first of all, when a task is created, we show, okay, what was the text from the regulatory document that caused this task to be created? Then what was the reference regulations that could have been relevant in the context of this task. Also, we have automated AI-based quality assurance check, because you all hear about hallucinations, inconsistencies of generative AI. So we have a multi-agent system that actually not only creates tasks and tries to figure out requirements, but also has ability to do quality assurance check to make sure there are no hallucinations. This task is scheduled in the right context, in the right time, for the right purpose. And then this task is verified, it is assigned to a person, it is scheduled in time, there's a workflow behind that. So all the ServiceNow standard benefits. But another thing that we added is Permit GPT integrate with Now Assist agent, and now you have ability to actually interact with the task. So for example, if a field technician goes in the field and wants to learn about, hey, how do I perform this task? Why do I need to do this task? So we have the full information about the regulatory requirements, about the asset information, knowledge-based standard operating procedures that AI knows and can reference in interacting with the field technician. So for example, if I ask the question, give me step by step instructions. So in this case, AI will look into all the context of the task, related assets, related regulatory standard operating procedures, documents, etc., and it will tell me exactly what I need to be doing. And I can interact with the task. It can guide me further. It can help me like with certain questions I have. So that will also improve dramatically the efficiency of the people who actually are doing this thousands or hundreds of thousands of tasks in the field. So all in all, what I showed you is basically AI that can extract from documents critical information pertaining to the regulatory compliance, link it to the assets in ServiceNow, schedule automatically all the work in ServiceNow automatically, and also help the field agents or people who interact with this task to have a better interaction, to have better knowledge about what needs to be done, guide them through, thus saving tons of time, tons of effort, and reducing the risks of that. And all is done within ServiceNow. And I think this is a combination of ServiceNow GenAI is so powerful, and there are so many use cases that it can be applied to. Igor, back to you.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Alex. That was quite an impressive, I would say, A to Z solution. So basically, like you said, not just the information was extracted from the documents, but entire permit task, compliance task schedule was created, and on top of that, the permit GPT that helps on workers on the field. So really, it's quite impressive, and like you said, the combination of AI and ServiceNow platform gives tons of possibilities. So I would like to take some time and think and go a little bit beyond and think of where else could AI-powered document extraction bring some significant value. So from like straight away, I can think of legal document review, for instance. So like automating extraction of key clauses, dates, terms from legal contracts can really ensure compliance with the regulations, or tender documentation can be easily reviewed and summarized using AI. So what do you think, Alex? What are the other possible use cases?
So absolutely. So healthcare is a great example where there are a lot of documents that in the healthcare workflows, there's a lot of stages when like the document exchange happening, and extracting the information through these documents is going to be very important in healthcare case management systems. Security is an interesting aspect. So think about if you have the certain procedures, certain work streams, certain requirements that are written as policies, as the or as reports, and having generative AI to first of all extract like knowledge from these policies that can be used for compliance to the security policies instruction, or in inference, I would say. Then it could be used for understanding how well your processes run against your requirements that are normally formulated as part of documents. But when you have a report of some kind that is presented to you by an external vendor or generated internally by some other system, so how do you extract the critical knowledge? How do you extract the maybe events or knowledge that will trigger a workflow that can cause, for example, certain reviews or certain approvals, etc. So this technology can be applied to various cases. Again, we looked, as you said, legal, compliance, security. We're talking about
maybe
healthcare.
Maybe accounting, like extracting data from invoices and things like that.
Oh yeah. Yes, actually accounting. So again, I have an interesting history. My previous company was Mobicord, and we did invoice processing for at scale for technology spend, and that's the place where, like at that time, we didn't have good tools. Now we have much better tools at the moment to do that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And moving on with our topic, and as you can see, guys, document extraction can be very, very useful and time saving. But what if I tell you that there is a way to determine how exactly will a company benefit from implementing a specific compliance task generation use case. So in order to give you some kind of starting point and roughly determine your potential savings, we at Teiva Systems, we developed a so-called Gen AI assessment app that will help you basically see how much money and how much effort can you save by implementing a Gen AI powered use case. So let me give you a little demo of how it looks. Okay, so I believe you all can see my screen now. This is the homepage of our application. At the moment, it's present on the ServiceNow store. It's absolutely free, and it requires no installation whatsoever. It's basically just ready to go. And we wanted to make it as simple as possible. So really a one button solution. So let me press this magic button, and while it's calculating your potential savings, I'm going to show you some use cases that we've already covered. So these are the categories of use cases. At the moment, we covered Now Assist skills that goes out of the box with ServiceNow, but also we are constantly developing and expanding our library of use cases. And this is kind of roadmap. And here you can see how many more use cases and categories we are going to cover in future. So this is just basically unlimited potential and unlimited field for different use cases. And here in this widget, you can see the document extraction, what we were talking today. And I'm going to show you in a minute. So basically what it did, it calculates the data from a client's instance. So it's a data, you get a data-driven result. So here you can see at the top how many use cases are applicable to your business, how much money you can save in a year after implementing all those use cases, and how much time you will save. Let's scroll down to the document extraction and specifically to compliance task generation use case that we were talking about. As you can see, we have a star rating. This is a so-called applicability rating. So it shows how applicable this use case for your specific organization. So if we go to the details, now you can see a detailed breakdown by use case. So with compliance task generation, it was quite tricky because some maybe client doesn't even have a ServiceNow instance before implementing this use case. So we built this use case completely on our assumptions. Basically, it's we took the industry standards to calculate those results. So for instance, an average company, let's say, processes 750 documents a year. And based on that, after implementing compliant task generation, you can see that the company can save around $15,000 and almost 370 hours of time. But again, this results reflects an industry standards, I would say. Here in this tab, you can easily tweak the results to make it more specific to your company, to your how big and how many documents your company are processing. So these are the numbers that you can change. So you can start with amount of regulatory documents per year. You can change the amount of compliance tasks that are generated from one document, and also average time to create a task in ServiceNow, to manually input all the data and create this this task calendar Alex was talking about. So all in all, it gives you flexibility to tweak and change some numbers to get, I would say, a result that would reflect your needs and your business. So basically, that's it. Like I said, it's quite simple, very easy to use, available on ServiceNow store, and we constantly adding more and more use cases. And even if there is no such use case that would apply to your company, that's not a problem at all. We can create a custom use case that would reflect your specific needs, add it to our assessment app, and run the assessment. And sometimes you don't even know which use case is more applicable. So you might think of one use case, but after doing some discovery and running the assessment, might be revealed that you have some more potential for AI-based use cases. So this is our solution, and yeah, I was happy to present it to you. So at this point, we don't have much time left, so I guess we can move on straight to our Q&A session. Alex, what do you think?
Absolutely. Just one last comment. So the actual number, like when it comes to compliance for oil and gas, for the applications that were deployed, it was more like close to 1 million annual savings in certain cases. So it all depends on your data. That's why you were mentioned. It's very important that this application runs on your ServiceNow instance, where it can look into the data and make its own assessment when it comes to estimating the ROI of the application to your environment.
Exactly. And I already see a question from the audience. So Alex, question for you. So was Permit GPT made only on ServiceNow, or it's some kind of combined solution?
So the thing is, ServiceNow GenAI capabilities are great, but they're tailored to certain use cases, and that's what you covered, Igor, in the assessment app. It's now assist, it's summarization, it's code generation, workflow generation, and some other use cases. So when we work with clients, we see the applications that go much more beyond what ServiceNow originally tailored. And think ServiceNow is a platform that caters to most. And the use cases that we usually solve are very unique in nature and very specific to certain areas of the business. So our approach, and in case of Permit GPT, we definitely couldn't use ServiceNow alone. We use ServiceNow as a great platform for work management, master data, and all stuff related to that. When it came to GenAI, this whole document extraction, verification, multi-agentic quality assurance was built outside as a hybrid. So, and this is what we see for the next, for foreseeable future. That's going to be probably the approach. So a hybrid approach where you use the best large language models, fine tunings, different techniques of storing and processing information for GenAI, and combining it with the capability of ServiceNow, and fully integrate into all ServiceNow workflows, events, UIs, and that's what we see the hybrid approach going to be probably the most prevalent in the next couple of years.
Okay. Well, yeah, I see. Thank you, Alex, and right on time. I would like to thank everybody for joining us. I know it's a very, very big topic, and we can talk about for hours, and that's why we are making a series of webinars, and each webinar will be dedicated to a specific use case or category of use cases where we will talk about more and expand more on that. And maybe some of those use cases are applicable to your business. But if you think that you would like to automate your business, but you still don't know the areas, we can help you discover some use cases that are specific to your needs. So please do not hesitate, contact Teiva, contact our experts. And once again, thank you, Alex. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for a demo. And yes, guys, goodbye and stay tuned for our next webinar, and until the next time.